Imagine dating someone who looks like they walked straight out of a fashion magazine, designer bags, top brand clothes, shoes worth more than your 3-month salary. That was Lily. I met her at a fashion show where I was shooting photos for Richest, the company I work for. They make mid to high-end shoes, and I'm just a regular photographer there. Average job. Average salary. I was leaving after the event when, bam, I accidentally bumped into her. She stumbled, almost fell, but I caught her hand just in time. "Sorry. Are you okay?" I asked. She looked at me, then at her shoes, and snapped. "Do you have any idea how much these shoes cost?" No." She folded her arms. $2,000. And you almost ruined them. I laughed nervously. "Funny thing. I actually work for the company that makes those shoes." Her eyes widened. "Seriously?" Just like that, her attitude flipped. Suddenly she was friendly, curious, asking questions about the company. Before I knew it, we exchanged numbers, and she said she'd call me. The next day, she invited me to a cafe. Not just any cafe, one of those cafes where you have to reserve a table in advance, the kind with prices so high they don't even put them on the menu. I wore my best clothes and went. When I walked in, wow. Gold accents everywhere, crystal chandeliers, live piano music. It was like stepping into another world. She arrived, looking perfect as always. "You don't come to places like this often, do you?" she teased. We talked for hours about fashion, upcoming shoe lines, her career. Turns out she was a famous model. Paris, Milan, Spain. She traveled everywhere. And there I was, some average guy, wondering how I got lucky enough to be sitting with her. Over the next few months, we got closer. But something kept bothering me. Every time I offered to drive her home after our dates, she refused. "My friend's picking me up," she'd say. But she never mentioned this friend before. 3 months into dating, I finally pushed a little. "Who is this friend? I've never even heard of her." She froze. Stammered something about a Jane. Then rushed off. Weird. The next time? Same excuse. The time after that? Still no ride home with me. Something wasn't right. One evening, after another date ended, I decided to follow her. Not in a creepy way, but I had to know. She walked 2 blocks, turned left, and entered a parking lot. There was a red SUV parked in the corner. She got inside. I waited. 15 minutes. Nothing. 20. The lights in the car went out. 30. Still nothing. Finally, I walked up and gently opened the door. And what I saw, I'll never forget. Inside, Lily was curled up under a blanket. A suitcase sat on the passenger seat. She was living in her car. She woke up, eyes wide in shock, struggling for words. I can explain. But I just closed the door and left. My mind was spinning. 3 days passed. I couldn't stop thinking about her, the way she laughed, the way she made me feel. Despite everything, I realized I loved her. So I searched parking lots until I found her again. This time, no fancy clothes. No makeup. Just Lily. She told me everything. She had been a model once. 4 years. Then a younger face replaced her. Work stopped. Money dried up. But she couldn't let go of the image. She rented designer clothes, maxed out credit cards, spent everything to look like she still belonged in that glamorous world, until she couldn't even afford rent. And the whole time, she was terrified I'd find out. I didn't care about the clothes. Or the image. Or the lies. I cared about her. So I told her to move in with me. Helped her find a modeling job at my company. Slowly, she rebuilt her life. It's been 2 years now. We're engaged. And every time we talk about it, we laugh. The girl who pretended to be rich ended up being the girl I fell in love with.
I'm Philippa. I used to live in a world most people only dream about: expensive cars, designer clothes, a house so big you could get lost in it. People called me the princess of the school. But that's the thing about fairy tales, sometimes they end overnight. One day at school, I sat at my usual table, my friends buzzing around me like bees around their queen. Everyone bragged about their latest purchases. I, of course, had the best and most expensive. Then he showed up, Thomas, the boy I hated most, whose family owned 3 companies. With a smirk, he said, "Hey Phil, how's your father doing?" I rolled my eyes. "Since when does my private life matter to you?" His smile widened. "Since your dad screw up." He laughed and walked away, his friends following. I froze. My dad screw up? What did he mean? Leave. Now I ordered my friends. They scattered like obedient pets. When I got home, my father was pale and shaking. He slammed his phone on the table and muttered, "It's all gone. Everything. They took it all." I didn't understand until men in suits arrived the next morning. They weren't guests. They were debt collectors. Within days, our mansion was emptied. Cars, jewelry, furniture, gone. My so-called friends stopped answering my calls. My parents fought every night. One morning my father disappeared and never came back. My mother cried herself empty. I thought the worst was over. But it was only the beginning. A week later, the princess of the school was standing in a stranger's house wearing a maid's uniform, holding a mop. Not as a guest. Not as a friend. As a servant. And guess whose house it was? Thomas's. At first, I told myself it was temporary. But then I saw the smirk on the lady of the house's face when she ordered me to scrub the same floor twice. I saw Thomas laughing as I washed their dishes. One afternoon, while I was scrubbing, Thomas walked over holding a glass of water. I thought he was going to mock me. He poured the whole glass over my head. Something in me snapped. I swung the mop and slammed it into his head. It broke in 2. When I came to my senses, the floor was wet with blood. Thomas was crawling and screaming, and his mother was shouting at me. They locked me in a room for 3 days with only water. When he came back from the hospital, things got even worse. He mocked me at every chance. And when his parents weren't home, he tried to take things further. Then, one night, I overheard a whisper. Finally, the woman said to her husband, "The daughter of the man who ruined us is under our roof. Look at her now, serving us like a dog." That's when I realized my father's business collapse wasn't an accident. This family had been his rivals. And now they had me exactly where they wanted me, humiliated, powerless, theirs to control. Every day I lived in their shadow. Every night I swore I'd rise again. But for now, I kept scrubbing, kept serving, kept surviving. Because I knew one thing: fairy tales may end, but so do not.
They say bullies are monsters. But what if I told you, sometimes monsters are made, not born? It's story of me that almost killed one of my classmates on nothing. My name's Amber, and for 2 years I ruled my school with fear. Everyone avoided me, because that's exactly what I wanted. If someone walked by without saying hi, I'd find a way to make them regret it. I laughed when people cried. I made others feel small, because that was the only way I could feel big. But then she came, Leela, the quiet new girl who smiled at everyone, including me. I thought she was fake, pretending to be nice just to get attention. So I decided to teach her a lesson. It started small, accidentally spilling juice on her notebook, hiding her bag. But she never reacted. She just smiled that same calm smile. Every time I expected her to fight back or cry, she just said softly, "It's okay, Amber. Maybe you're having a bad day." That actualt irritated me. Why she was so nice, why? Why she couldn't just cry for help like the others? Why I am even thinking about her this much? Tomorrow I went too far. In the lunchtime, I caught her and beat her out good. The way she couldn't stand up properly. And then I told her, how's this? Wanna cry and beg for mercy. To my surprise, she still resisted against crying for help and sweetly smiled. It's all right. In that moment, I became so furious that started to beat her without thinking, and all people ran toward me and stopped me and beat me the way that I'd beaten them. That was first time feeling the way that my victims felt when I hit them. That broke something in me. Because I didn't understand how someone could be so kind to a person like me. That night, I couldn't sleep. Her words echoed in my head like thunder in a quiet room. For the first time in years, I cried. I realized I wasn't angry at her. I was angry at myself. Angry at my dad for leaving. Angry at my mom for pretending everything was fine. And angry at the world for making me feel invisible, unless I was cruel. The next morning, I walked into class and everyone went silent. I stood in front of Leela and said, "You don't have to forgive me, but I'm sorry." She smiled that same smile and said, "Then let's start over." That day, something changed in me. For the first time, I didn't feel powerful because people feared me. I felt powerful because someone gave me a second chance. Now, every time I see someone getting picked on, I stand up for them. Because I know what it's like to be both the villain and the one who finally wants to be better. I was the bully, but thanks to her, I learned what real strength is, kindness.
If you like this video, please like and subscribe for more content like this. Remember that more support, more motivation, and finally more and better videos.